Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Lexicon. This is the first live session. And today our topic is understanding the IELTS trivia and tips. And for this reason, I'm here today. As you know, this one, the outside is fully lockdown situation. So first, to listen to you from you guys. Are you listening to me clearly, or can you just watch me clearly? Can you just make a comment over here? If you just listen to me, can you just make a comment over here? And we start our class today. So today we'll be discussing about some topics regarding IELTS, and that is what is the IELTS actually, and why the IELTS is needed, test format, and IELTS owners. There is lots of people there asking in different sections like British Council in the IELTS test, or should I go for the IDP, and the difference between IDP Council I will be also discussing over here, as well as the registration procedure. People have got really less idea. People, they have got wrong idea about this, as well as the IELTS test fees. It's changing every single year, and what's the fee right now? And we'll be talking about IELTS exam day, what to expect the candidates over there in their exam day. Hi, this is good evening as well. There are lots of people there joining here in this class with me, and also the scoring pattern and the test location in this country. So if you just listen to me, can you make the comment over here? Can you just listen me clearly or not? Because I'm pretty doubt about that, whether you are listening to me or not. Yeah, good evening, everyone. People are saying good evening. Can you just make a comment over here? Can you listen to me? Okay, if you just listen to me, then yeah, good evening, everyone. People are saying only good evening, but can you just listen to me? So I can see people, they have joined in this IELTS class today. As I'm going to talk about this one, the IELTS, and this is, all you know this one, the meaning, what is it stand for IELTS. This is International English Language Testing System. And here, every year, you should know this one, more than 3 million test takers, they are taking this test annually. And the test is for study, if you want to study over here, I mean abroad in different countries where English is spoken. So IELTS is the key. Okay, slow mode there. Maybe that's the problem of the internet. I'm not sure about that. So the test is for your if you want to migrate yourself in different countries like Australia, Canada, or other countries. English is needed, so you need IELTS and IELTS score as well. Also for your study, if you want to study abroad, then IELTS is the key factor, and without this you cannot get the admission over here for your dream to study, or you cannot settle down over here. And this is not only for going abroad. Nowadays we see so many organizations like non-government organization or government organization, startups, BCS cadre, and so many people, they need to develop their skills. So to develop your skill, I believe you need your IELTS score, because IELTS always give you the idea about reading, listening, writing, and speaking, 4 different sections, so that you can improve your English level, and you can improve the idea how to write, how to speak in front of the people, or how to listen very carefully for all those sectors. And this is also needed for going to short training outside and everywhere. So if you need this one, IELTS is the key factor. So this is not only for going abroad. If you want to improve your skill, you can easily get it there. And the test format, if I talk about this, but before going to the test format, I would like to give you the idea about the IELTS. People usually don't have the clear idea about the IELTS. So which IELTS actually you need? That is the question here. You see there are 3 different types of IELTS nowadays. I mean, this is called the standard IELTS. And also the second one is called about, you can get here. So many people, they are watching here. And the second IELTS is IELTS UKVI as well, and that's IELTS Life Skill. So it's standard IELTS, it has got 2 different sections, like academic and general training IELTS. So you need to take the preparation. Before starting your IELTS preparation, you need to clarify which one is needed for you. As well as the IELTS UKVI, that's only for the people who would like to go abroad. I mean, especially for UK. For UK education, you need the IELTS UKVI as well as Life Skill IELTS. And this is for the spouse who are staying here, and the people usually their relatives is staying in UK. They just ask for these IELTS, like IELTS Life Skill, this A1 and B1. So you need the separate preparation here. So I will discuss regarding these formats and everything, but before that, there is something like IELTS, which is the combination, I mean, 3 different owners of IELTS. The first one is British Council, second one is IDP, and third one is University of Cambridge. So what are the differences and what are the roles over here? So British Council and IDP, they usually conduct the test all over the world, I mean, across the globe. There are 130 countries, these organizations, they are working for taking their test. As well as the, Cambridge University, they usually ensure the question paper, teachers, and training and marking system and everything. So this is all about the owners, and I will just also give you the idea about the difference between IDP and British Council, because there are lots of myths about that. People usually have the wrong conception and the wrong idea about British Council and IDP. Some of the candidates, mostly I face, there are lots of candidates there coming here. So they just ask about where should I sit for the IELTS test. I mean, they want to sit for IELTS, but they're pretty scared about this one. So I want to say one thing. There is no difference between British Council and IDP, because all are same. If I just give you one idea about that, so you can easily understand this thing. So people are asking usually these sort of questions, and they usually say the question paper same? That's the question over here for who are still in a confusion. Should I choose British Council or should I choose IDP for sitting in the IELTS test, as I have prepared my IELTS, but where to sit? The problem is about, they're asking about whether the question papers same. Second question is the test date same, and test environment, scoring, and the acceptance level over different universities, easy or tougher, which one is the, and people have got the myth, like they're thinking in that way. If I just sit in the British Council, I will get the more mark, or if I sit in the IDP, I will get more mark. I mean, these are not true even. I must say this one because as I've got the longer experience for working here, it's been 10 more years. So I can assure you, there is no difference between IDP and British Council. It's like whenever you get it, I mean, you just, you want to buy one Lux soap, you know, but you can buy either from, you know, Khulna, any of the local shops or going to the Save and Save. So the product is the same, but the difference is between where to buy. But you cannot get the different product. So there is no confusion. So question paper, test environment, procedure, rules and regulation, all are the same between these two organizations. So there is no confusion about that. You can sit anywhere because even they use the shared examiners, the speaking examiners they are using for British Council. They are also going for IDP. So there is no contradiction over here. And the next term comes about IELTS preparation is all about some people, they have got really lack of their ideas and they don't know about IELTS registration procedure. So nowadays it's pretty easy to do the IELTS registration because if I talk about this one, where also the IELTS registration, Lexicon is working for IELTS registration, but now we have got the more responsibility, like we are also working as the test center, British Council test center. So here we also give you the service like you can take IELTS preparation, you can do your IELTS registration, as well as you can sit your IELTS test here, as we are the IELTS test venue. But what are the things will be needed to do the registration? To do the IELTS registration, you need a very simple thing. You need to have the valid passport. Without this, we cannot help you to register. But we do it freely and happily all the time. Our friendly environment, they usually give you the idea of what to do and not to do. But we can make it easier completely to give you this process. Only you need a valid passport. Either you can come with your passport as well. I mean, the photocopier of your passport. Only the first two pages where the information is there, so that you can come along with this passport. And you need nowadays the IELTS registration fee so that you can do your IELTS registration. I mean, you can do it by online or you can come here to our center so that we can do everything from our side. So you don't need to worry about the IELTS registration. And there are some questions usually people ask me, and I frequently face these sort of questions like, how many days earlier should I go for the IELTS registration? Usually it's written in the website if you want to do the IELTS registration. So 10 to 11 days earlier would be safer zone because, you know, there are some seat allocation. So every single test center, they have got some limitations. So if you are not doing it earlier, then it may be booked. All the seats can be booked, so that in this time there will be the problem. So I think that's you can do it with your sincerity. You can come over here. And also I want to give you one good thing, so which can be really helpful, because people have also got the wrong idea, because they think if I want to sit in the IELTS test in Khulna, maybe I need to come to Khulna from Dhaka or other cities to do the IELTS registration. I don't think so, because British Council made it too easy for every single candidates. You can do it by any of the cities, I mean, sitting anywhere. So IELTS registration center nowadays, across the whole country, we have got 119 IELTS registration centers, Chittagong, Khulna, Dhaka, and so many places. So you can do it, the registration from anywhere for any of the places. But now, the question is, how many centers we have for the IELTS registration. So for IELTS exam, I will just give you the idea as well for this one. So some of the viewers, they have written down, and my lovely students, they're also in the live. So I want to tell you, yes, we'll be coming here with lots of tips, important tips and everything. to planning for the main test. This is a plan for next 31st, till 31st March, we have got the plan, because we'll be coming to the classes one after another. Every single day, we have got the class at the same time. So 7 p.m. is our class time. Today, we are just giving you the idea about IELTS trivial matter, because people usually don't have the clear idea about this one, and that's why I'm going to give this sort of thing as the first class. That's really basic idea about IELTS or IELTS. So I'm seeing here so many comments and people are adding. So who already joined here, I want to talk about them. I want to also introduce my problem of, I don't know whether you were listening to me clearly or not, but right now you are in the live session of Lexicon, and my name is MD Shajib. I'm just IELTS trainer, and I'll be taking the classes of next, up to 31st March, the all things like listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So tomorrow we'll have the class also the same time. So as I was also talking about this thing, like you can have your question, so you can write down over here, you can make comments, you can ask me any sorts of questions. So I will try my level best to give you the answer, to make it clear, the confusion and everything. So as I was talking about the IELTS registration procedure and the test locations, as you know, this one 190 places for doing the IELTS registration, and to do this IELTS registration you need to go different places. But for IELTS test, there are 6 more locations in Bangladesh. First one is in Dhaka, obviously, then Chittagong, then Sylhet, then Rajshahi, and Kumilla as well. 6 more locations, but in Dhaka you can also sit for 4 more locations, like IELTS has been taken. In Dhaka you can go to Bonani, you can go to Uttara, you can go to Dhanmondi, even you can go to Mirpur. So that's also the newest location of IELTS center. And in Khulna you can also sit to Lexicon, because we have got several dates of IELTS. And now the test fee, because people usually also don't have the idea about the test fee of IELTS. After completing your preparation, whenever you think about you need to do the IELTS exam, you need to sit for the IELTS exam, so you can contact to us, and you need 17,500 taka. As you see this one, these are 3 different categories, but the thing is, there is a problem, like IELTS standard, IELTS academic and general training, you need to pay 17,500 taka. IELTS UKVI, till 7th April, the earlier test fee was 21,600, but the good news is for that, who are going to UK, who'd like to go there and study over here, you have got the good news, like from 7th April, it's going to reduce the amount of money. It will be 19,700 only. And for IELTS life skill, taking the spouse visa or working visa over there, you would like to sit there, like to go there. Earlier you needed to pay there, it was 16,200, but nowadays from 7th April it will be 13,100 taka. So you got the good test fee, you've got the reduced test fee. So if I talk about the exam day, so what to expect in the exam day, but before that, I want to discuss about the test format of IELTS. So for going academic or general training, whether it's standard IELTS or IELTS UKVI, you need to follow this test format, and I'll be taking classes in the next videos, upcoming videos, based on these 4 different skills. As you have seen there, this is the format of the test for academic and general training. It has got a little bit difference over here. IELTS, basically, there are 2 different modules, but 4 different skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. For listening test, listening, reading, writing will be taken in the same day. I mean, on the same day of the IELTS exam day. So on the exam day, what to expect over here? Basically, the test is being conducted on Saturday, most of the days, but we have seen a couple of days are on Thursday. So Saturday, where you need to go to the center around 11:30, so that with your valid passport. If you just forget to bring your passport, there will be the problem, because nobody can help you to sit in the IELTS. So passport is really very important with you. So there will be the passport, and pencil eraser sharpener you can take. That's complimentary, because the test centers, I mean British Council, will give you all the materials like pencil eraser sharpener, and you cannot even take the transparent paper or any box or any of the packets with you in the exam room. So it's very tight, because people will check everything. Even you cannot take your own tissue paper, so the wristwatch even, or along with all the stuffs, like if you want to take your mobile phone, so it's forbidden completely, so you cannot take it. And so on the day 11:30 around, you will be there, and the friendly test staffs, they will be taking your photos, and they will check your ID, and after that you will be in the exam room. So in this exam room, you cannot get the permission to go outside. So before going there, you need to prepare yourself, because you need to stay there for a longer period of time. On the test day, you have to sit at a stress, together, first listening, then reading, then writing. So consecutively, 3 more parts will be taken on the test day. So the listening part, usually this is 40 minutes test, and in the listening time, there will be 4 more different parts. And in the first part, second part, third part, and fourth part, all the 4 parts, it contains 10 more individual questions. So 40 questions together, and you will be listening one pre-recorded audio. So based on this audio, you need to correct all the 40 questions. You will be given one question booklet, so you need to listen to the audio. At the same time, based on this audio, you need to go ahead and you need to try to correct all the correct answer. You will write down, and you will be also given one paper, answer booklet. So after 30 minutes, the audio will be stopped, and based on this audio, as you have listened and you have written something, so you need to transfer. Now 10 minutes transfer time. So listening has got total 40 minutes, 30 minutes for your listening test time, and 10 minutes for your transfer time. So within this 10 minutes, you have to transfer your all 40 questions. So this time you should be very careful, because in the next video, whenever I'll be taking your IELTS listening class, I will show you the answer booklet. So in the answer booklet, in the opposite side, there is a thing like reading answer. You can transfer. So on one side you can get listening, and other side, opposite side, you can get reading. Here, the candidates, usually they get the trouble like that. They make mistake. As they're in the stress, in the exam condition, they usually transfer the answer in the wrong place. So that should be the blunder. So be careful about that. You are transferring in the right place. So after completing your listening test, there will be again 1 hour reading test. So I will give you all the tips and tricks in the next videos, upcoming videos about this, how to deal with this, and how to transfer wisely, and what to do. And there are so many myths and the questions about that, the listening section. Should I write in the capital letter or in the smaller case? So there are a lot more questions about IELTS listening test. So hopefully I can make it clear. And if I talk about the right after that, there is no break even. So if you want to go outside, washroom or anywhere, so you need to cut your time. So be careful whether you are not, you are going outside frequently or not. But in the listening time, until the transfer is done, you cannot go outside. But after this, I mean, when the reading starts, you will be given 1 more hour, 60 minutes for reading test. There will be 3 more passages in the reading test. So within 1 hour, 60 minutes, you need to complete your all passages. And at the same time, here is the thing, like the difference between listening and reading. Like in listening section, as I told you, you'll be given 10 minutes more, extra time to transfer your answer from question booklet to answer booklet. But in the reading section, usually lots of candidates, they make mistake, they forget, and it happens very frequently to lots of candidates, because there are lots of students of us. Usually they take the IELTS preparation here in our center. They take the IELTS preparation for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, even some cases people usually take 6 more months. And they usually sit for 1 month mock test in a very stipulated time condition. Usually we do care about our candidates in the mock test time. We sometimes go for the punishment system if they make mistakes or anything like that. But right after that, after practicing hugely, people usually, the candidates or the IELTS test takers, they are not very careful, or they make mistake. And it happens to lots of candidates. They forget to transfer the time at the same time. So the thing is, you need to do, that is, after completing your one answer, if you get the reading question answer, 1 number answer, directly you need to transfer to the answer booklet of 1, and then 2, then 3, because you don't have extra 10 minutes as like the listening test. So never make the mistake over here. So as you get the answer as soon as, and you will just transfer to the answer booklet. Thus you will be completing your reading part, and right after that there will be 1 hour, 60 minutes is also the allocation time of your writing test. There will be 2 more tasks, usually we know, because 2 more tasks usually in IELTS and tax 2. The difference between academic and general training, as there are lots of candidates, they would like to go to Canada, so you need IELTS general training module for sitting and taking the IELTS preparation. So the IELTS academic and general training difference between these 2 sections only, like reading and writing. The reading section, the academic questions paper, the question paper will be different only for the reading section, but listening and speaking will be the same completely for academic and general training. In the same question paper, you will be taken your, the authority will be taken your exam. So even the same examiner will take your speaking test, and the same question paper will be used for listening test. But for reading, question paper a bit longer, there will be 3 more passages. But instead of that, for general training candidates, there will be 3 more sections for the passages. In the first section, there will be 2 more smaller passages, and based on the passages, there will be the question like 1 to 13 or 11 question. I will discuss more about the reading part later. And also for writing, here you can find the difference between academic and general training, especially in the task 1. So what happens in the task 1, for the students who'd like to go abroad for their study, they need to sit for the academic test. So in the academic test, you need to describe 1 graph or chart, one map. Instead, for the general training candidates, you need to write down 1 letter here. But for both cases, it is suggested to spend only 20 minutes for task 1, and for task 2, 40 minutes. It's for academic and general training. Though the question will be a little bit different. Question will be different, but the patterns are same. Like there will be the essay type question, and you need to write down 1 essay, at least 250 words. So test. So consecutively, if you just count the test format, first the listening test will be taken on the exam day, and it happens every single month. We have got the date every single month, like it started from January and February, March, April, upcoming I mean, 4th April, we have got the next IELTS exam, so we'll arrange for that. And people usually, they are taking preparation. You can do your registration to our center, and you can send it to us through our email and to our cell number. You can just contact us, and we can help you to do your registration. So 4th April, I mean, if I just talk about the upcoming IELTS exam, on 4th April, you will be sitting on the test, and there, as I told you, as the test day expectation, what to expect on the test day. So around 11:30, you need to, by 11:30, you need to be in the test location with your valid passport, and the test invigilator, they will take your photograph and they will check your ID, whether you are the valid candidates or not. Then you will be taken to the exam room, and you will be waiting around 1 to 1:15. Around the listening test will be started. From there, listening 40 minutes. Then the reading test will be started. That's also 60 minutes, and also the writing test for 1 hour. That's also 60 minutes. So this is 2 hours 40 minutes test in a consecutive way, and you won't get the break. If you want to take the break, you have to go with your time period, and that should be, I mean, you will lose your time over here. So practice in that way, so that you cannot make any kind of messy situation, or you lose your time. So here I want to say one thing, that is mock test is very important, as we run the mock test here for 1 more month in a very tight condition. Usually we have got the name like IELTS sandwich batch. We give the sandwich because we put the pressure to the candidates, like and also candidates, they have got the pressure over them, so that's, we make the sandwich to the candidates. So in this time, we have got also one thing, like allow any of the candidates to speak with us in Bangla. So they have the habit of 1 more month to speak in English within this time. They will get their result every day after sitting the test, listening, reading, writing. Right after that, I mean, after completing the test day, speaking test is being taken the other day. Usually we say the IELTS test day or IELTS test date, that is for listening, reading and writing. If it's 4th April, upcoming test day. So before 1 day or after 1 day, the speaking test will be taken of yours. So speaking test is only for 11 to 14 minutes test. It's there are 3 different parts of the speaking test. So the examiner is coming from, from British Council, and they are taking the test. We have got the test venue. In this test venue, the examiner is taking the test for every single candidate's 11 to 14 minutes test, and the format is there 3 different parts. Part 1 is there, like it's introduction and interview. Second part is called the cue card, and third part is called the two-way discussions. So the first part, it lasts for 4 to 5 minutes, and in this part, usually the examiner asks you about your name, your likes and dislikes, very familiar question about you. And the second part, that's called the cue card section. Here the examiner will give you a topic, and you have to speak about this topic, but you will get 1 more minute to take the preparation here. So in this part, this is a challenge usually to the lots of candidates for, taking the, speaking here. Okay, some people are asking me question, and that's why I got stuck here. So I want to say, so I will take the question. Don't worry about that. Okay. People are just writing here so many things. I'll be taking your question. Don't worry. After completing my lecture, I'll be taking your question. So you can ask me the question so that I can just give you the answer. So the third part, as I'm talking about, for the especially for the second part, as I was talking about the speaking test, the second part, that's called the IELTS cue card section. It's being tougher for lots of candidates because they cannot deliver. They are being worried, should I speak 2 more minutes or not? Here I can give you one clear concept. Nowadays, IELTS, we had the wrong conception. So you don't need to speak 2 more minutes in the cue card section. If you think like you have done, you can finish it by your own. So it's not like you have to touch 2 minutes. It can be 1 more minute, like, but be careful, it's 1 more minute. More than 1 minute, it's enough if you are done with all the questions. So as I'm talking about, I'll be discussing more for these sections, the upcoming videos, as I'll be taking the classes over here. There are so many techniques and tips so that you can improve your speaking power. You can speak your cue card without any hesitation, without any fear. Even you can touch 1 more minute to even for touching all 4 parts. And another part that's called the two-way discussion. After completing your cue card, there will be again 4 to 5 minutes. The examiner will ask you the question, 4 to 5 minutes. So, that is for the UKVI, IELTS UKVI, you also get the same preparation. The exam day condition also, there is something like, talking about the scoring here. After completing the exam, people usually expect for the score, their IELTS test result. So if I want to talk about the IELTS scoring pattern, so that's a little bit wondering and a little bit interesting here. So first of all, you need to know about the scoring pattern for individual skills like listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So for this listening section, what it deals here, you see there the pattern is for listening 9, reading 9, writing 9, and speaking 9. So for listening, reading, writing, and speaking, so altogether this is 36. So if I just divide by 4, it will be 9.0. That's the highest score of IELTS, average score. It's called the band score. So for listening and reading, you have one range here. So the range is 18 to 22, 23 to 25, then 26 to 29, then 30 to 32. So in the listening and reading, as there will be 40 more questions. So if you see there, if you get 18 out of 40 questions for listening and reading, you will only receive 5.5. 18 to 22. Again, 23 to 25, if you just cut out 40 questions, then your score will be 6. If you touch 26 for your listening and reading, you will get there 6.5, the score for listening and reading. In this way, it will be counted. And 30 to 35, 7. Then again, 33, if you touch to 34, that's 7.5. So in this way, if you just get there somehow 35 to 36, that's the difference is very very less here, and you can get there. So if you just touch 35 out of 40 questions, you can get 8 out of 9. And you have seen so many of our candidates, they got 9 out of 9 in their listening, reading, speaking. And so the marking criteria is like that. So you need to deal with this. And another thing is that for writing and speaking. So for writing and speaking, we need to go for so many things. For writing, if I just give you the idea about task 1 and task 2, it has got different marking patterns. For task 1, you need to know about TA, CC, LR, and GRA, and what are those? TA, that is called the task achievement, then CC, cohesion and coherence. You need to learn about lexical resource. You need to learn about GRA, grammatical range and accuracy. So all 4 different marking criteria, these 4 you need to learn, and you need to know why people usually are getting 6, they are getting 7, they are getting 8. So we will learn more about this marking criteria whenever we'll take the class of writing and speaking. Again, for task 2, these are the marking criteria like TR, CC, LR, and GRA. So based on this, the examiner usually measures your score. And also for a speaking test, there are so many things people usually say. Somebody is speaking very nicely, somebody is speaking faster, somebody is speaking with their own individual accent, somebody is from America, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. So they have stayed there, they have studied there, And after coming here, after completing their honors, they just came here in the country like Bangladesh, and they want to sit again, and they think, somebody thinks like they will get the highest score in their IELTS, but it's not likely, because you need to know the marking criteria. Because in the speaking test, also 4 more marking criteria, that's called the fluency and coherence. So you need to learn about fluency, what is coherence, as well as lexical resource, GRA, grammatical range and accuracy, and the pronunciation. One most important thing is that there is no mark for the accent. If you are speaking like the native speaker, like Australian people or the British or the American, so the mark won't be based on this your accent. So accent is okay, as we have got the accent, that's okay for getting. Even so many of our candidates, they got 8.5, and with their accent, then some of the candidates got 9 out of 9 in their speaking test. So if I just give you the wonderful calculation of this, marking criteria, like some people have got the individual scores in their listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So if they get in their listening 6, and in their reading 6 as well, but in their writing 6.5, and in their speaking 6.5. So if you just calculate all 4, so this is 25, and this 25, if you just divide by 4, it will be only 6.25. So what would be the score in this situation? The IELTS is very interesting for doing their scoring. If you just touch somehow, you see there 6.25, it leads to 6.5, interestingly. But if you get more than that, 6.5 and more, but it will be only 6.5. But if you somehow, somehow means making the average of all 4 sections, if you just touch 6.75, your whole IELTS score will be 7. That's really interesting, isn't it? So you need to be very careful about that, because if you just leave any blank for reading and listening, for giving the answer, you will lose the mark, because there is no negative mark in IELTS. So you can put whatever you want. So even if you need to go for gazing for giving the answer, you have to gaze it. But don't put blank for any of the answers for reading and listening. And for that reason, you can get it, the good scores. So right now, I'll be talking about the result. As I have talked about IELTS, if I go to the summary from the very beginning, because as we know, I'm just going to go for the summary right after the results section. After completing your exam, you have to wait 13 more days if it's paper-based. But if it's computer-based, nowadays it's available in Dhaka, you know this one. You can sit for the IELTS test on computer as well. So it takes only 5 to 7 days to get your IELTS result. But if it's the paper-based, it's still in Khulna, Sylhet, Chittagong, Rajshahi, Kumilla, these are the places you can sit. The paper-based, paper and pencil, you have to use. But one more thing here, IELTS is fully based on the, you have to write down everything by pencil, especially it's recommended for listening and reading section, but for writing, you can write down by pen, but we don't encourage to the candidates, because if you make mistake, or if your spelling is wrong, sometimes it doesn't look very good if you just have the rough or very. So for the writing section, I will also be talking about that. So as I was talking about the IELTS result, right after completing your test, you have to count 13 more working days. So after 13 days, the result is published, and you will get the IELTS result through the online. So after 13 days, 14 days, you can collect your result. If you just sit from our center, you can collect your result from us. So for the result, that's another question. That's called the age-old question of IELTS. It's about, there are so many people, they have got the rumor about IELTS expiry date. They're saying, some people are saying it's only validity is for only 1 year, but it's wrong completely. Still, it's 2 more years, the validation from the test day, it will be counted. And another important thing, if I go back to the IELTS registration there, if you don't have the expiry date, I mean, if you just cross the expiry date of your passport, then you cannot sit to the IELTS test. So validation is important. Even it is true for your IELTS TRF, I mean, test report form. If you here, I mean, if it passes only one day, then you cannot apply through this IELTS TRF form. That's called the test report form. So IELTS certificate, you have to apply within these 2 more years. So these are all about, and there are some age-old question about IELTS. People usually, they are saying for IELTS, they think, as I have talked about, the confusion about IDP and British Council, as there is no difference. And another thing is that if I just talk about the places of sitting in the IELTS, there is no difference sitting in the IELTS in Dhaka, in Rajshahi, in Khulna, in Sylhet and Chittagong. Even there is no difference between the marks. I mean, people are saying if you just go to Dhaka, you will get the good mark. And some people are saying as well, if you go to other cities, you will get the good mark, or your speaking will be better and something blah blah blah. This is completely wrong. If you sit anywhere in the world, it will be the same, and you will get exactly the same thing, because the question paper will be or the question patterns, marking criteria, all are the same. So if you go anywhere, if you sit anywhere, it just based on your level of English. IELTS only measures your level of English. If you have so, you can sit anywhere. You can get your score from anywhere. Another wonderful thing, if you want to sit your IELTS test, like you are on the traveling mode, if you want to sit your IELTS test by going there, you can do so as well. So that's all about. And there are so many questions people usually ask, and so many people. So I'm going to the question section, and then I'll go for the summary. So here I can see people ask me the question about IELTS. Okay, thank you, Mr. Shaun, for saying this. Hassan Imam Shubho, he's asking about which one hurt. Is it general or academic test? This is not specified usually, because it says the question paper, like if you just take the academic test, the passages are quite longer, because as I have told you, listening and speaking will be the same. So how can you say this one is tougher and easier? The same, even in the same question paper. But for listening, I mean, and speaking, as I told you, but for reading and writing, these two are different of the question papers. So the questions for academic passages, it's longer. It's saying it's a bit harder training, but a little bit easier. It seems to be. But in generally it's not. And Mr. Mizanur Rahman Mukta, should I need to wear? Okay, is asking about announce this. Okay, I don't have any idea what you're asking about. And Mr. Jafar Sadiq, I've got a due to speaking in Bangla approximately. Okay, so here Mr. Akhtaruzzaman Milon, he also asked about launch an online course as overall circumstances of the entire world is not good. Yeah, we will. Don't worry. They have joined here, and for the IELTS preparation, minutes. Okay, and don't worry about that. Thank you, Porinita Dotto. She is one of our toppers, and thank you very much for appreciating us. And as we are going through this, so what do we have discussed today? As I'm just session of today's, I faced a little bit the problem of network. I don't know whether it's when this kind of class more. It's very helpful. Thank you very much. Thank you. As you were talking about. this one, yeah, will be coming soon. Don't worry about that. Yeah, we talked about IELTS as it generally. I want to go through this whole discussion sections today. IELTS, you know, this is one international English language testing system, and this is for the test for your life. The test is for your study, and the test is for your migration. So you can do three things by your IELTS score. One is for your study, wherever the English is the requirement. You can use this certificate by your IELTS. So by this IELTS certificate, you can study abroad, you can settle down abroad, or you can get your short training. In some cases of the government trainings, they're asking about the IELTS certificate as well. And this is not only for even going abroad. I must say this one is more than that. If you have done your IELTS preparation, but you are not looking forward to going abroad, but it can be so handy and worthy. Because in IELTS, you can get the whole idea about how to write, how to read and understand, how to listen and understand very carefully. Because in the listening section, there will be 4 more accents, as you know. That's British, American, New Zealand and Australian. So these will give you the idea about whether you can understand their pronunciation or not. And it can be helpful for the government employees or for the non-government employees. There are lots of international NGOs nowadays, and they have to work with the foreign people, and foreign delegates are coming, and you need to talk about. So I believe these IELTS can boost your performance level of your English skills. So this can be very, very helpful to all ages and all walks of life. So the test format, as I have discussed about the test format, I also discussed about the owners of IELTS. There are 3 different owners: British Council, IDP and University of Cambridge. These are the owners. So there is no confusion about if I want to go Australia, should I go to IDP for sitting in the IELTS, or if I want to go UK, should I sit for the IELTS test in the British Council? There is no definite rule. IELTS owned by 3 different bodies like British Council, IDP and University of Cambridge. So these 3 department, 3 different bodies, they usually conduct the test and just prepare the question. Yes, we are also waiting for the question, Mr. Mukta. Don't worry, you can ask me the question. I will try my level best to give you the answer as well. And we have talked also about the difference between British Council and IDP. As I have told, there is no difference. Environment, question papers and everything. I have talked about the IELTS registrations. Registration procedure. If I just give you the key point, only you need your valid passport and the money. And the test fees, I have also given the idea. The test fees for regular or standard IELTS, 70,500 taka. For UKVI, it's being less than from the 7th April. That is in a state of 21,600 to 19,700. That should be from 7th April. And for IELTS life skill, 16,200 taka to 13,100 taka. That will be from 7th April as well. And IELTS exam, what to expect. And on the test day, then I have told it as well. Then in the, on the IELTS exam day, your passport is needed, very much important. Don't, forget to keep it in your home. So many of my candidates I have experienced, recently, what happened there, one of my test takers, he left the passport in his home and then he reached in the center. So what happened, it was around 11:45 and then he just got back his home and needed to collect the passport again and then set for the IELTS test. So it's kind of panic. So don't need to create any kind of panic. And the scoring pattern that I have told you, and the scoring 9 overall band score, but for listening and reading, it has got the range, like out of 40 questions, you need to meet up the ranges like 18 to 22, then 23 to 25. So this is the way for getting your result. For writing and speaking, you also need to maintain the marking criteria to get 7, 8, 9 and 6 as well. And there is no difference for scoring. If you want to sit in the IELTS in Dhaka, Khulna, Chittagong, Sylhet, Rajshahi, Kumilla, Feni, nowadays it's been taken the IELTS test. So anywhere you can sit, but the marking criteria will be the same. The same examiner even can take the test going to Dhaka. The same examiner is taking the test coming to Khulna. So you cannot find any differences for getting the good score. If you are good in your English skills, I mean, you can, if you know the all the procedures, if you have the good techniques, strategies, if you know the marking system, then it will be the same for everywhere. So don't worry about that. And TRF, that's, I have told it already, IELTS test result form. It's the validity is only 2 years, so you can use it for going abroad. After 2 years, you have to sit again for the IELTS test, and you have to register this one. So that's all about today. And people ask me so many questions. Some people ask me about if I just more in the writing section, so is there any problem? No, ultimately there is no problem if you write down more in the writing section, but you have to maintain the time, you know, the time management, because you will get only 1 hour for the writing, but you have to complete 2 different tasks, task 1 and task 2. So there is a limit. It's been suggested, like for task 1 you have to write down 150 words, and for task 2 you have to write down 250 words. So for task 1 and task 2, if you write down more, then how long would you like to write down? As you will get only 1 hour. So you have to respect the time, I mean, as well. Otherwise you will lose the mark, obviously. And if you, someone also asked this one, like if you just transfer in a wrong place, should you lose the mark? You know, this is really a very tougher thing. I mean, if you do so, I must tell you one thing. You will just contact to the test day, friendly test day invigilator. They will give you the solution instantly. But don't do it because this is the exam. In the exam, everything is a rule and you need to maintain it. That's why this is exam. Otherwise, you cannot get the good mark if you don't care about all those things together. Yeah, that's it all about today. Thank you very much for joining me and for listening all this thing. I don't know whether it can be worthy or not. Okay, somebody also asked me the question. Another question is that Aditi Shah, she asked me one thing: what is the basic difference between general and academic test, and what one is needed for higher studies? Okay, as I have already discussed this one, maybe, okay, I'm telling it again. The difference, there are 4 different skills to prepare for IELTS, as you know: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So out of these 4 different skills, listening and speaking will be the same for academic and general training, but for reading and writing, you can find the differences. In the reading section, the questions number, like 40 questions for academic and general training, that will be the same. The exam procedure will be the same, but only the difference you will find in the content of, reading passages. Like the passages for academic, it will be longer. Like one passage length is more than 700 to 900 for academic. So it will be a bit longer, and it's a little bit tougher, it says, because it's also about the research, because for the academic candidates, you need to go to the university, you need to listen to the university teachers' lectures, you need to do the research, and you need to study over there, you need to sit for the exam. But on the other hand, for the general training candidates who are just seeking for only the migration and want to settle over there in the English-speaking countries, they don't need to sit for the exams, they don't need to listen to the lectures of a teacher, they don't need to submit any assignment. They don't need to go through the pages to study. That's why we say academic, the passages are longer, and compared to general training, a little bit tougher, little bit. And 3 different passages So the 3 different passages will contain 7 to 900. So in total, it will be 2,100 to 2,700 in total words for academic. For general training, there are 3 different sections. Like for section 1, there will be shorter or smaller passages, 2 different passages. Second section, also 2 different passages. Based on this passage, there will be the question like for first passage 1 to 13 up to or 14 questions, then second passage 15 to 29 or 30, then third passage 31 to 40. So, but the last passage of the academic, general training, it will be the same as academic. So that's the difference. And for writing, you will find the difference. For writing academic or general training, there will be the same for task 2, 250 words, and essay type. That's for both academic and general training. But for general training and academic, for task 1, as it is suggested, you have to write down 150 words. So for academic, you need to present one graph. Like graph, there will be 7 more graphs like bar chart, pie chart, table graph, map. It can be any of the charts. So you need to describe. On the other hand, in general training, you need to write down instead of this graph, you have to write down one letter. So in general training, there are 3 different letters: formal, informal, or semi-formal. So in the question paper, you will get only one type of question. Out of these 3 different letters, you will get only one letter, and you need to write down one letter instead of describing this graph. That is the difference between academic and general training. I hope it's clear to you. Mehdi Hassan wrote, I really want to go to UK, but I have also other plans, and that's why I don't want to sit for IELTS UKVA exam. Is it okay? Good news is that some of the universities in the UK accepted the standard or regular IELTS that usually most of the people they sit for. Yeah, it's quite okay. But for going, except UK, like England, Ireland, Wales, and these 4 countries, this UK, United Kingdom, out of this United Kingdom, the regular IELTS will be okay, like Norway, Sweden, Finland. These are the countries, they accept the all sorts of IELTS. The problem. As we're going 30 more minutes, as it's planned for taking 30 more minutes classes every day. So we'll be taking the classes from now on every day. It's been more than an hour. I'm just talking in front of you. For staying with me for a longer period of time, as it is a lockdown situation in the whole world, and we are very sorry for that, for interruption for taking your IELTS preparation. And I believe this can be a little bit help of you. And as you know, this is completely the voluntary work from Lexicon, because I feel this can be a little bit help of you, because people not to get the proper guideline what to do. So many people, they have enrolled in my center for taking their IELTS preparation. They have just started, and some of the people usually they're just going to appear in the IELTS test in their upcoming IELTS dates. So I thought, what could be the idea? So I just came here to just have an assistance over you, so that it can be helpful for you a little bit, and so that it can be worthy for you. You can get some inspiration. You can usually work in your from your home, and I'll be giving you some tips and techniques what to do for specific listening, reading, writing, and speaking, so that you can practice sitting in your home and be safe all the time. And that is my earnest request. Don't go anywhere, and just listen to the news, listen to the government. People are really passing the miserable condition, and we don't expect this sort of situation for you as well. So I hope this thing will be helpful. My classes will be helpful for you for the next couple of days. I have planned for that. So we'll meet again, tomorrow at 7 p.m. So thank you very much. If I make any kind of mistake here, I'm sorry for that, because this is the newest experience. Today I have taken yesterday I have taken the decision, and today I'm here. it will be okay, I guess, day after day. And hopefully if you just help me, if you assist me, and if you continuously support me, your support is needed, and hopefully your inspiration can help me to go forward. And we just seek for the blessings from you as well. Pray for us, pray for whole Bangladesh, and pray for all the people who are suffering from every single corner of the globe. We are really very poor in this situation. So only the thing is, what we can do, we can just pray to God, so that can help us from this poor situation, so that we can come out from there. But stay at your home. Don't forget to wash your hands before eating anything. If you go outside, just after coming from outside, wash your clothes and be careful, and take care of your family members, and unnecessarily don't need to go outside. And thank you very much for joining us today, and hopefully we'll meet again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Thank you very much for staying with me.